everyone to JD Smackdown. This is, I'm not sure, probably like number 9.
This is number 9. Yes, I'm Jack Epster. I'm joined with Will.
And
We got a match.
Yeah, this is a tag team match between Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn, the number 1 contenders for the Usos tag team titles, versus Stan Stancy and, what was it?
Steve Jobs,
Yes.
the superstar Steve Jobs.
Not the Apple guy, no.
Steve Jobs. Of course, a recommendation of loyal subscriber James Howlett, who requested Steve Jobs in many comments. So we're giving it to you. Here you go, mustache.
And by many, we mean many.
Many. Sami Zayn kicking the shit out of Stan Stansky as we await the debut, I guess you could say, of Steve Jobs. So we, of course, on the road to WrestleMania here on JB Smackdown. At WrestleMania, we'll have Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville facing the tag team champions, the Usos, who they gained a victory over last week. And yeah, we are less than 20 days away from WrestleMania. Or no, not less than 20 days. More than 20 days. It's like 20. No, I'm stupid. I don't know. Let me think about this now. 16 days. That is it. So yes, less than 20 days. Of course, we got this SmackDown. We got another SmackDown, and then we're on WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania will be March 29th as Steve Jobs is tagged in, the superstar Steve Jobs.
RKO.
RKO out of absolutely nowhere. Goes for the pin now. What an upset this would be. And Sami Zayn's going to kick out, not even at 1, before 1. Goes for a drop kick, but just the awe-inspiring of Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs is pulling out all these moves here. It's that nice leg sweep there. Now going on the middle rope. Oh, and Sami Zayn takes that leg and sends him crashing down. So we got lots of action here tonight, including this match between the tag team #1 contenders, and of course, you know, some young and up-and-comers, I guess you could say, or young and downward spiraling going. And then we also have some other great matches for you.
We got Curtis Axel versus Dolph Ziggler, and then we got The Rock versus Sting in our main event.
Of course, Sting, the undisputed champion, who's going to face The Undertaker, which we learned last week when he defeated Hulk Hogan in the #1 contendership match at WrestleMania. And then we got, what was it, Curtis Axel and Dolph Ziggler. Of course, we have a triple threat going on at WrestleMania for that, between Dolph Ziggler, Curtis Axel, the United States champion, Bad News Barrett, in order to see who comes out as that champion. Of course, that's a no disqualification match, and should be one that I'm insanely looking forward to. But another thing I'm looking forward to is the rise of this new team of Adrian Neville and former Raw superstar Sami Zayn, after last week only making their debut, defeating the tag team champions. Of course, their debut is a tag team, and they both had some singles runs in seeking titles, but they were not able to do so. Of course, Sami Zayn with the European title on Raw, and Adrian Neville with the United States Championship over here, which none of them were successful at, but looking to be pretty successful as a tag team, as Sami Zayn hits that signature.
That flippy shit. Not really.
I wouldn't call that a flippy shit. Sami Zayn, he's going to throw Steve Jobs a louver kick. If only Adrian Neville were there. He's just roaming around back there. Roman Reigns, ha. Ha! Funny. Sami Zayn kicking on Steve Jobs now. Steve Jobs is up. And that nice slam by Sami Zayn now.
I think Sami Zayn is trying to set up that red arrow for Adrian Neville.
It's quite difficult, though. See that Steve Jobs is certainly not a small man, especially compared to these two, who are more of the smaller side, more of the smaller technical kind of high flyers. Is Adrian Neville with that big fist drop on the in the corner, picks up Steve Jobs again, just trying to navigate where he's gonna go. A reversal there. Tries to go for a punch. Adrian Neville goes on the ropes, shoulder block.
Is this the comeback?
I think so. We got Stan Stansky, the original jobber, dating back to Wwe 13, when the game was good. Of course, sponsors Wwe 2K15, the game is bad. Perfect gift for anyone at this point, extremely. We got Popeye's Chicken Biscuits, Louisiana Fast, Red Arrow. Never mind about that other sponsor, WWE Immortals. Adrian Neville just won the match.
WWE Immortals, the game is good.
Game is good. Evolve Daniel Bryan going on. Red as we speak. I think at least.
Yeah.
I haven't caught up on it. There we see that RKO by Steve Jobs, the haluva kick, the red arrow, and we all know the results of that. A win from Team NXT, as I'll call them. And so that's already 2 victories for this tag team, as they just started last week. They're currently undefeated as a team, but of course their singles careers in the JW, while short, weren't doing so well. So they decided that, hey, we're going to make an impact, and this is certainly the way to do it. An impressive team like the Usos, and of course, an obviously even more impressive team of Stan Stansky and Steve Jobs. Much more impressive. So we got Dolph Ziggler, and we also have Curtis Axel. Axelmania is going to run wild tonight here, hopefully, but I guess not hopefully, for Dolph Ziggler, a man who was the former United States champion, losing that to Bad News Barrett in a table match at Elimination Chamber. But at WrestleMania, he'll have the opportunity to regain that when he faces Curtis Axel and Bad News Barrett, of course, the current champion. So 2 of the challengers for that title are going to be facing off tonight. Of course, that'll be a triple threat rules match, which there's no disqualifications, and all that good stuff. As Dolph Ziggler confidently making his way to the ring, hoping to get a victory over the somewhat dominant, I guess you could say, Curtis Axel. Axelmania is in full force here on JV Smackdown. Curtis Axel looking to win that United States Championship at WrestleMania. Of course, there's a bit of bad blood between all of these men. I'd say the most heated would be between Ziggler and Bad News Barrett. Of course, they had that match that led up to a tables match, of course, that I mentioned before. It was a brutal tables match. I think it ended with a wasteland through the table to win. All around good stuff. And speaking of good stuff, here comes your boy, Curtis Axel. And I'm assuming that's your pick right here for this match.
Always.
But Dolph Ziggler is here to show the world. Nonetheless, Curtis Axel looking as confident as ever in the Axelmania trunks, Axelmania shirt, those big bows. We know who those are inspired from, obviously. Himself. And yeah, making his way to the ring. One of the challengers for the United States Championship. And that would be his first title here in the JW. Meteoric rise we've seen in Curtis Axel in a very quick amount of time. He's become one of the fan favorites, and he's also been pretty entertaining doing that. There you go with that taunt on the top rope, and we're going to have ourselves quite the match here. 2 technically sound wrestlers going at it. Or superstars, I should say. Sorry, Vince McMahon. And the match starts now. Bell is rung, the match is now legal. And that super kick, attempted drop kick to the back of Ziggler. A nice counter there by Axel. Hulk Hogan style, points to the crowd. Of course, you see that WrestleMania inspired trunks. Drop kick by Ziggler now. Some action-packed stuff going on just in the beginning of the match. Expecting this to be quite the match itself. Irish whip now. Reversal by Axel. So yeah, as I was talking about earlier, the rise of Axelmania. And of course debuting, I believe, against Rey Mysterio. He beat Rey Mysterio. Then he got involved in this title picture. I believe that it was actually an elimination chamber. It was the aftermath of the match. Bad News Barrett celebrating. And Curtis Axel will come out in perfect plex. Bad News Barrett right through a table that was in the ring from the match that was not broken. As Ziggler is on the headlock with Axel. Gets that leaping clothesline, getting hyped up here. So Axel, Ziggler, and Bad News Barrett all on the United States Championship picture, going into heading into WrestleMania. And Bad News Barrett's only held the title for about a month, and hopefully, in his mind, he'll keep it for longer. But he's got 2 impressive opponents to face at WrestleMania, and you'll have to find out on March 29th who's going to win that one. But back to this match, you're going to find out very soon who's going to win this match. As Ziggler gets that top rope move, face buster, bellow buster, whatever you want to call it. And now the most repetitive elbow drops you can see. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And you get the point. He's going to keep on going. And keep on going. And hours and hours of energy.
And another.
And another. Yeah. There you go. That's where he spins around. And that's the 10th one.
I think. Doesn't count.
Whatever. We'll say it's the 10th for whatever reason. No reason. Just we'll say it's the 10th. Ziggler heading for the zigzag. And that connects. Ziggler has the opportunity to go for a pin here. Hooks the leg. And a kick out at 2.5 as Curtis Axel tries to get back on his feet. Severely damaged from that sequence of moves, but a drop kick nonetheless. Taunting now. Ziggler punches the side of the head of Axel, but Axel, he's no selling. He's hulking up. Axelmania with the point again. Some nice stuff going on here. Big boot. Goes for the ropes. And that leg drop. Hooks both legs now. And it's going to be Axel who's going to win the match and have the momentum heading into WrestleMania. Just a bit more, of course, than Ziggler. Very impressive comeback there by Curtis Axel. Of course, a tribute to Hulk Hogan. Who, coming up next is Sting, who's going to be facing The Undertaker. And, of course, Sting is the Undisputed Champion. And then there's The Undertaker, who's the challenger. And he gained that challenger status by defeating Hulk Hogan in a main event last week to determine the #1 contender. And so, very good match that was. Hulk Hogan and Sting have been putting on some phenomenal matches. And Hulk Hogan, hopefully, looking to have a spot at WrestleMania. But we do not know at the moment if there is anything in line for Hulk Hogan. So that might not be good for the Hulkster. But at least it's good for Axelmania, as Axel's going to have a bit of fun now again with these Hulk Hogan. What the hell? It's Wade Barrett. Right behind him. Oh my God.
What a bullhammer.
That was probably the nastiest bullhammer I've seen. As my phone rings. And I'm going to answer it. But the bullhammer, who cares about my random 800 number calling me? Did you see that bullhammer? We'll be right back on JB Smackdown. And we're back at its main event time here on JB Smackdown after a ridiculous bullhammer that I'm still in awe from. As Sting, the Undisputed Champion, is making his way to the ring, and he's going to be facing The Rock. And, so imagine this. Imagine The Rock wins. What does that do for him, and how exactly is he,
That would most likely put him in either a #1 contention match or in the title match. Like, he'll just win the title match.
You gotta think that's so. Very similar situation over on Raw. We have Ryback with a victory over the champion Hogan. And we have Cesaro with the victory, the European champion. But we have CM Punk, who is the Royal Rumble winner, and he wants to stick to that one-on-one match. And as a request, it is accepted by that. Hulk Hogan also wants that one-on-one match. Of course, CM Punk and Hulk Hogan have faced each other before during the bracket. But this really settles the score. This one, it's got a lot more riding behind it. It's actually for the championship, and we've really seen that rivalry heat up over on Raw. And of course, Sting, not unfamiliar with Hollywood Hulk Hogan and the antics of the NWO. That it's almost good that the Sting and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the New World Order, have been kept separate, because they would have torn each other apart, especially both of them being champions. That would be a match that possibly maybe a bragging rights match down the line. Of course, one of our pay-per-views. And but nonetheless, The Rock looking all hype here. Had that feud with Brock Lesnar for a little bit, in which Brock Lesnar really just dominated the entire thing. I mean, we haven't really seen much of The Rock or Brock Lesnar, but if The Rock gets this win over Sting, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of him. It's the thing with these rosters, there's just so much of the roster that only so many people can get screen time. It's such big stars as The Rock and Brock Lesnar. have not been showing up, and not like purposely have not been showing up, but they've been, here. They've been here on JB Smackdown, but they have not been in some matches in some time, or at least of anything of importance, any sort of title or some kind of a feud. So I guess that's where that feud kind of started from. It's both of them. It's almost similar to what the Shield did in WWE 13, of course, that being John Cena, Ryback, and I believe Sheamus. Yes, and yeah, that very similar kind of angle where just wanted to be used more. Nonetheless, Sting, that clothesline, almost a clothesline by The Rock as well. Would have been cool to see one of those double clotheslines of both men laid out, but Sting has The Rock on the floor, and he's got all the control here. Leg drop. The move that won the match previously, with Curtis Axel defeating Ziggler with a Hulk Hogan-style leg drop. After hulking up, of course, The Rock's going to drag Sting over that top rope. Sting's going to get the reversal. Dangerous spot here for Sting, going on the top rope, but The Rock, he's back up. Throws Sting onto the mat. Now the People's Kicks. Very different style The Rock has from, I'd say, most wrestlers probably ever. Those signature kind of kicks, the way he does them. And, oh, right there, that suplex that only The Rock can do as well. But of course, The Rock's also familiar with taking suplexes from the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Who, what's the record between The Rock and Brock Lesnar? I know Brock Lesnar's beat The Rock once. I think he's beat him twice, actually. But I'm not exactly sure. Of course, Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman, the next big thing, Brock Lesnar. Although he hasn't really been the next big thing over on JB Smackdown here. Of course, in W13, he had quite the run. I believe he was feuding with Daniel Bryan at some point. That was such a long time ago. But it was certainly some good stuff. Certainly some better times for the WWE games in general. But nonetheless, Sting, dropkick, reversed by The Rock. Man, that clothesline that The Rock was attempting in the beginning of the match. Now the repeated kicks by The Rock, the People's Champion. Of course, Sting not being the People's Champion, he's been very arrogant in the past weeks. We've seen more of a heel side of Sting. A sort of slow build, I wouldn't say it's a straightforward heel. It certainly has not been the, the fan favorite he once was. But he is the champion, and, that proves everything. That proves that Sting is legit and he's doing what he's doing right. That big clothesline by Sting, now he's getting all hyped up.
Hype.
Like this game had.
But then, it's bad.
What if this match turns bad for Sting, and what if The Rock can get the victory over Sting's cockiness? It certainly propel The Rock here in this season of JD SmackDown. The Rock had quite the season in WWE13. He was the champion for a while, and it was good stuff. The Rock now has that spine buster, possibly calling for the rock bottom. He's got the arm. Oh, but Sting with the elbow to the face. And a Scorpion Death Drop. Caught The Rock by surprise there. Sting was able to get out of the rock bottom so early, or so late I should say. Sting picks up the victory. The Rock really thought he had that rock bottom right as he went to do it. Sting with the elbows. It wasn't an immediate reversal. It was Sting realizing what he had to do there to survive the match and not give The Rock a chance at his title. And he did just that. He reversed it. He got the Scorpion Death Drop, and he picked up the victory. Very impressive win for Sting. Of course, the man will face Undertaker, who has also had some WrestleMania success here in the JW. And, of course, in the WWE with that undefeated streak. But we'll see if he can be undefeated at WrestleMania in the JW when he tries for his second WrestleMania match. We'll see you at WrestleMania. We'll see you on JW Raw. March 29th. You should mark your shit, because it's WrestleMania.